Hello and welcome back to another Cobotoast tutorial. Today I will be showing you how to make these little ribbons in two different ways. First, we're going to go through the crochet way, and next we'll go into how to knit this ribbon. So with this ribbon, you can tie it onto a hair tie, make it a cute little hair tie, glue it onto a hair clip, or even make a keychain with it, which we will be doing here today. So I will be using the Caron 1 pound in the color Rose, which is this label. And the crochet hook size I will be using is 3.75 millimeters. And the needles for the knitting is 3.5 millimeters. So that's a US size 4. So we will first begin with crochet. And we take some yarn. And first we make a slip knot. And then we chain 3. So to make chains, you yarn over and pull through. That's one chain. Yarn over and pull through. One more, yarn over and pull through. And this is 3 chains. Now from here, we go into the second chain from the hook and yarn over and pull through like this. And then go into the next chain, yarn over and pull through. So you will have these 3 loops for the duration of the whole ribbon. Now the next part is the part that you will be repeating over and over until you have a good length. And so as we start, we take off the last 2 loops from the hook. Make sure not to pull too hard on the string so that the loop comes out. But from here, we yarn over and pull through the remaining loop and put the second loop back onto the hook, and then yarn over and pull through, and then put the last remaining loop back onto the hook, yarn over and pull through. And that's another row. And so if you look at the back, it looks a little weird, but once you have a good length, it's gonna start looking better. So what you are doing here is essentially just making a tiny circle and just crocheting in each loop 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and going around so that you're making a little cylinder. So if we go again, we take these 2 loops off of the hook and yarn over and pull through. Put the second loop back on the hook, yarn over and pull through. Put the third loop back on the hook, yarn over and pull through. And you just keep repeating this over and over. This is actually called an I-cord. And this is how we are going to make the length of the ribbon. So continue this until you have about 10 to 11 inches. And we will go through how to knit this as well. So here I have made this much of an I-cord, and if you look at the back, it looks pretty much the same as the front. So once you have a good enough length, it starts to look kind of like a little rope. So in the beginning, if it looks weird, just give it a little more time and it'll start looking like this. So let's do the same thing but with needles this time. The only difference here with crocheting or knitting an I-cord is that it's doing the same thing. The only difference is that you're using a hook or you're using needles. So to knit an I-cord, we first cast on 3. So to cast on, you go downwards to this one, pull upwards, and go around and grab this yarn and bring it through the middle. That's 1. And then now you have these 2 yarns. And now we go under this one, through to the other one and bring it down. Pull the bottom one tight, and that's 2. And 1 more through the thumb, grab the index finger one and pull it through and pull tight, and you have casted on 3 stitches. Now that you have 3 stitches on your right needle, make sure your yarn is on the left side. Bring in your left needle and transfer all of these stitches to your left needle so that the yarn is still on the left side of the work. And here you just knit all 3 stitches with the yarn from the left. You just knit and then knit the next one. And then knit the last one. And you have your first little row. And you repeat this over and over. You transfer all the stitches to your left needle, making sure that the yarn is at the left side of the work. And once you transfer, you just knit all 3, taking the yarn from the left side, knit all 3 stitches. And once again, move the stitches over to the left needle and knit. And same thing with this, the back of this I-cord at first is not gonna look good, but once you have a good enough length, it'll start to look like an I-cord. So what happens here is at first it looks like this, and then as you get more length, it'll close up a little more, and then it'll just look like a regular I-cord. So continue this until you have about 10 to 11 inches of I-cord. Now I have here about 11 inches of I-cord, which is about 28 centimeters. And to bind off, we will do a similar bind off as when you would be knitting. So you do your first 2 stitches like normal, and then take that first stitch and pull it through the one before it, and then same thing for the next stitch, pull it through, and then pull it all the way through. And just quickly on the knitting too, we knit the first 2 stitches like we would, And then take the right loop and bring it over that second loop. And now you knit the next one and do the same thing. Pull this one over your last stitch. And you pull this yarn out a little bit so we can cut it. And we will weave in the ends. Weaving in the ends is actually pretty simple. We go in the middle of the I-cord. So like I said, if it's circular and a cylinder, then you can just poke through the whole middle part of the I-cord. So you poke all the way through to the side. Grab that yarn and pull it all the way through. Nice and tight. And if you stretch it out a little bit, it might end up just going fully inside, but if not, we can just cut and it'll end up on the inside of the I-cord. Then we're gonna cut a little bit of the yarn so that we could wrap the middle of the ribbon. Give about 3 or 4 of the ribbon length. It doesn't have to be that long. It can be shorter, but just to be safe so that we have enough yarn. And to form the ribbon, we're gonna make a little bit of a pretzel. So bring the longer part of the yarn over this way. Make a little bit of a breast cancer ribbon. And then loop over and bring it down this way. And you have your little ribbon. Now pull the yarn that you cut earlier into a darning needle. This will help secure your ribbon. And take your ribbon. We want to make sure that once it's tied in the middle, it won't be able to pull out, because then your ribbon will just become a string again. So we want to go through this side first, and then the next ribbon part, and then the next ribbon part. So it's 3 different parts we're going through with the needle to secure the ribbon. And once you like the shape of that, poke it all the way through. And then tie it in the back of the ribbon. And now you have a pretty secure ribbon. And for today's tutorial, I'm going to secure my ribbon on a little claw clasp keychain. So I take my darning needle and start wrapping around the middle of the ribbon, but also going through my keychain. And because I have this little hanging yarn here, I try to wrap around it every time I am going through the keychain to wrap around the ribbon. And when you're wrapping around the ribbon, pull tight and keep wrapping around the middle until you feel like the thickness is good. And once you've wrapped around tightly and you still have a little thing, you can just cut this part off. But you want to secure the rest of this in the back side of the ribbon. So using your darning needle, try to go through the middle. And to secure this, I try to knot it at the last little pull I have. So before pulling it all the way through, I go through it. And then I go through the loop that it forms. And I pull it hard here. And then I pull it hard here. And then one more time the other way, and then I will cut. So this is how you make a decorative ribbon. You can hang this on your key as a keychain, or use it as a bag clip, or tie it onto hair ties like this and make it a little hair accessory or even a hair clip. So there's lots of different ways you can use this little ribbon. I hope you found this tutorial useful. If you did, please remember to like and subscribe for more crochet and knitting content. Thanks for watching and see you next time.